Connect to a hidden treasure within. Through movement, stimulate the wisdom, the innate wisdom within you. Remove yourself, detach yourself from the addiction of learning externally. Begin to incorporate your unique wisdom embodied within yourself. Begin to understand the truth that you possess keys, treasure, wisdom within, deep within the soil of your body that the world needs. It is important to have balance in your learning. Yes, it may be useful to read, to take courses, to learn other people's perspective, but ultimately we must also learn to incorporate and discover and to sit in the innate wisdom within us, within our body. It is important to realize the responsibility that we have, and to not get seduced into comforts of the intellect, whose ambition is only certainty and answers and clarity, and will seek it in books, in words. Where the language of the body speaks non-verbally, speaks in movement, speaks in direct experience. It communicates loudest the body when we soften and surrender from certainty and verbal language and definitions. And as we soften into this, into our sacred vessel, we begin to organically unearth new insights that are dormant, always dormant within us, within our DNA. And this wisdom we all possess, and it is unique to us through our soul path that we have lived. The world does not need more regurgitation, more repetition, more learned wisdom. What the world needs is more unearthed wisdom from the soil of our body. This is key. This is authentic. This is needed. It is easy to read another person's perspective, another person's wisdom, to memorize it and to repeat it. That is a script. Much like society teaches us from young how to speak, how to act, what our aspirations are. But the spiritual path is one of individuation, of self-discovery, of walking one's path authentically. And this applies to wisdom. We must unearth wisdom, not repeat wisdom. Repeating wisdom is easy. To learn something is easy, but to discover something, to be an adventurer of yourself, is the challenge that the world needs. Society is filled with people repeating, a line of people repeating what the person in front of them uttered. This has its uses in the short term. For societal cohesion, we need it. But for long-term human vision, we also need a balancing of original utterance found from unearthing wisdom, innate wisdom, from the eternal soul path that your soul is on. Your soul way is required and a need of expression in a world where we are expanding beyond societal limitations and paradigms and perspectives. It is no good you repeating what someone else said, or living a life that someone else does, or having ambitions that society tells you to have. That is not helpful. Not to yourself, but not to the collective. We need to rebalance this wisdom to be learned from other people, of course, but also to be learned from ourselves, to have that harmony, to have that wholeness. Because to remember true wisdom is embodied. To read is an intellectual exercise. It is useful. It is enjoyable. It is applicable in many areas, but true wisdom is embodied. We learn best to drive a car by driving a car. We take theory exams to learn the rules of the road, to learn about the car, which is great. Intellectual exercise. When you first drive in a car on the road, it's terrifying. You don't know what you're doing. You have no idea what you're doing. But it's the best way to learn. And wisdom is the same. It is embodied. And to begin with, to embody the wisdom, the innate wisdom within, requires learning a new language. And that is a challenge in and of itself. As we begin to explore new terrains, new non-verbal terrains, we begin to play with ourselves in ways that are new and sometimes uncomfortable, much like being on the road for the first time. But year after year on the road, you get more comfortable, become, year after year, you get to a point where driving is just embodied. You're not really thinking, you're just an automatic, your body's taking over. Only in select moments do you really activate your conscious mind driving, when there's something that really springs out. And the same applies to life, to yourself. You want to embody wisdom. You don't want to be reliant on reading this person or that person to guide you where to go. You want to be, for the most part, guided by a connection to your innate wisdom within. And then in moments, of course, we like to read others' perspectives, take on other people's perspectives. The same applies to art. An artist will take inspiration from, but won't repeat other people's work, because they understand it is fruitless to copy art already created. Though we may take inspiration from, we may embrace the vibration of someone else's art and be inspired and be stimulated by it, but we do not repeat and copy. And wisdom must not be repeated or copied either. We must use other people's wisdom as an opportunity to dive into ourselves and to embody our own innate wisdom. And part of the challenge of that is accepting that you do have innate wisdom, because there is comfort in books, because we can live through other people's lives and experiences. It's much more enjoyable because it's comfortable. You can just watch someone else's film in another way, rather than create your own film. But here, we are here to be creative. We are creative beings. We are creating in every moment. In every moment we are making creative decisions. In every moment our body is in motion. The world is in motion. The world is not copying. The world is original, authentic, creative. It is not copying or repeating. No two flowers are the same. No two sunflowers are the same. There are all these nuances and plays of variation, of sizes, shades, of styles. So it's important not to get bogged down in the comfort of repeating other people's wisdom, and to begin to dive into yourself as you begin to understand the bottomless pit that is your bodily wisdom, that awaits your introspection, and the surrendering of your attachment to verbal language, and to dive into a non-verbal language, and to begin to incorporate that into your being, into your life, into your daily life, not as a one-off, as a continued language which is expansive. Whereas in the intellectual verbal language there is a set of alphabet, set number of letters, Whereas in the bodily language, the non-verbal, there is no such limitations. And it's important to have both. But for the most part, we have lost the bodily non-verbal language of experience and sensations, and movements, and inspirations, and subtleties, and curiosities, and passions, and plays, and feelings, and emotions. The whole package. It is on and on and on and on and on. But you want to balance that with the verbal, with the intellect, to be whole in your being, to be full, to realize and to embody and to express your potential. Your potential that is within you, that you have gained from your soul way, walking along your soul path. So I would encourage you to dive into this non-verbal self. Begin to inquire into your body, into a wisdom that is felt, not defined through the releasing of external confirmation. And to play. Bye.